Yumi Ridsdale. I am an acupuncturist, registered acupuncturist, and Chinese medicine herbalist. I am a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner in Cambridge, Ontario, in Canada. So today I would like to talk about self-care for your stomach. When I see patients, many patients with many different main concerns, headache or skin issues or hormonal issues or infertility, often the issue come back to their digestive health. Because their digestive health is poor, other symptoms happened. And then when we start talking about their digestive health, they always ask me, so what can I do? What can I do from my end? What can I do to make it better? What should I eat? What should I not eat? So today, I'm taking this time to explain what I usually suggest to all my patients. Okay? So for Chinese medicine, it is not about what you eat. I'm going to repeat this again. It is really not about what you eat. It is about how you digest. What's important is how well you can digest the food. It really doesn't matter how organic it is or how expensive and how well you eat. Some people say, I eat so clean, but I get all of these symptoms. Why is that? Because you don't digest them well. If you cannot digest, even though the food is super organic and GMO free and then cleans and I don't know, like it's great recipes, they all become garbage if you cannot digest. So the important things to focus here is how well you can digest. For that, let's talk about it. So first of all, your cooking is important. Your food needs to be cooked. In Chinese medicine, we say if you don't cook your food, your stomach has to cook. And it takes a lot of energy. Maybe if you have poor digestion to start with, then this cooking part of your stomach function may not even happen. So the cooking process is very important. Equally, chewing process is important. You need to chew your food. When you chew food, so cooking involves the chopping and then cooking with heat. So food is already been processed, right? So when you chew, it further break down the food, and then it secretes the saliva out of the saliva glands, which has a digestive enzyme. So food you take needs to be something you can chew. Food replacement, such as smoothie or juice, often you don't chew. So you can't skip really this chewing process. You need to chew like a good 40 times, like cows, you need to chew a lot. Also, around this area, the chewing muscle area, there's a stomach channels and large intestine channels. So as you can see, both stomach and large intestines are the really important organs for your digestive tract. So by chewing, you activate stomach and large intestine channel, which will help the organ function as well. So chewing is very important process. Another point that I would like to focus is attitude towards your food. Say again, you have this organic, GMO-free superfood with kale, and then you have this protein powders and this and that, and then you make a smoothie. And then smoothie is actually like a half cooked, right? Because it's been processed, it's just cold. We'll talk about that. But if you drink that smoothie while you're working, or while you're doing something, while you're driving, while you're doing something else, that really doesn't help for your digestion. The attitude you need is here, what we need is you sit, here's the food, and then you focus in eating while not doing anything else. You're not reading, you're not watching TV, when you eat food, you should eat food. You shouldn't be answering your emails or making your PowerPoint. So attitude towards the eating and food is important. You should be interested in eating. Often I see people who's not interested in eating. That's a weak stomach. If you cannot be interested in what you eat, or you only put things in your mouth because that's what human beings do, that there's a weakness. Okay? So it is a symptoms, but maybe something you can change as well. So you need to be interested in eating. Also, I put that here, gratitude. Maybe because I'm Japanese. You need to appreciate the food to be there to nourish you. So again, Chinese medicine works with Tian Di Ren. I talk about Tian Di Ren in like a different many videos of this lecture series. But the Tian is a heaven, right? So heavenly timing. Heavenly timing. We'll talk about that this timing section again. But the human being is affected by the heavenly timing universe, like a movement of the sun and moon and stars and seasons, seasonal changes, those things that happens above the earth. And then Di, Tian Di Ren, Di is the earth. So you are affected by the earth. The mercy of the earth is your food, right? So what you eat makes who you are. So you sit, focus, be sincere, be interested in it, and then be grateful that who is there, that you eat, and then you chew a lot, and then they become your nutrition. Now timing to eat is also important. So this is one challenge that often people have, because you work, you have other commitment you have to make. So if you can make this change, great. If you cannot, maybe at least you can do the first three. But if you can do this, it will make a difference. So this timing is according to the 12 earthly branches. So I'm gonna explain about that. So 12 earthly branches, Diji we called. So there's a Tiangan and Diji. Tiangan is a 10 heavenly stems, and Diji is a 12 earthly branches. You actually know this is the the Chinese calendar. So this year 2021 is the year of ox. Last year was the year of rat. Those Chinese zodiac, what you called, is earthly branches. So each year have each zodiac, but also each hour, each season comes with it too. So Yin and Mao, so the tiger and rabbit is under the wood element. Chen and Si and then Wu will be the snake and horse under the fire element. Then Shen, monkey, and Yo, rooster, will be under the metal. And Hai and Zi is under the water elements. Am I right? Ne, ushi, tola, tatsumi, uma, hitsuji, tori. Uma, hitsuji, saru, tori, inu, I. Yes, it's correct. Okay, so, and then in between each element, it comes to earth. So if you talk about direction, actually the direction have 5 elements of the Chinese medicines, but the wood as in east, fire as in south, metal as in west, and water as in north. Each time that the element change, it comes back to the center. So the center is the earth element. So in between each element, it sandwiches the earth element. Okay? So each element also comes with different organs.
Wood element comes with the liver and gallbladder. Fire element comes with the heart and small intestine. Metal comes with lungs and large intestine. Water comes with the kidney and bladder. So the earth is spleen and stomach. So it will be better if you can eat at the earth time. So 7 to 9 a.m., 1 to 3 p.m., 7 to 9 p.m., and you probably wouldn't want to eat 1 to 3 a.m., but some people may do. I won't. The challenge is I have as a Chinese medicine practitioner is that often it's a thing these days to do this intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, so you have 14 to 16 hours in between meal to let your digestive tract to give a rest. And then I'm all for that. Sure, you can do your intermittent fasting, but it would be better if you can eat 7 to 9 a.m. and 1 to 3 p.m. And then, I don't know, so 3 to 7. So that's 16 hours, right? So so your last meals around in between this earth time, and then your next meals is at the morning, breakfast. That would be actually better. But most of the people do lunch and supper because they don't eat breakfast. Either they don't eat breakfast by choice or they can't. But if you keep skipping your breakfast, eventually you won't be able to eat breakfast. Eating breakfast is important, or actually having the desire to eat breakfast is important, because if you don't have an appetite for breakfast, but you have a large appetite for supper, it is actually a pathogenic symptoms. That means while you're sleeping, your stomach didn't get recovered. Maybe because you don't sleep well. Mostly because you have a weak stomach. So the timing is important. If you can eat at the earth time, that will be good. If you do the intermittent fasting, skip the supper, eat the breakfast and lunch will be my suggestions. I'm not against the intermittent fasting itself, but if you do, if you don't do the intermittent fasting, that's fine. I don't. I eat decent breakfast, light lunch, heavier supper, but ideally I should actually eat heavy lunch and then light supper. Even I can do it because I have a family. I know it is hard, but this is something you can keep in mind if you can follow it. Okay? Oh, by the way, so the water time is 9 to 1 a.m., 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. This is absolutely the time you need to be sleeping to nourish your energy for the next day, because the water elements nourish you from the core inside. But anyway, we'll talk about that in another time. Now, so also we need to talk about quantity and quality of your stomach juice. Stomach juice is a gastric juice or digestive fluid. Quantity and quality. So quantity, do you have the stomach fluid? Do you have the gastric juice when you eat? Because if you don't, you wouldn't have an appetite. That's the reason why people don't have an appetite in the morning, because their gastric juice didn't get nourished while you were sleeping. So your stomach is still dry in the morning. So you will have you wouldn't have an appetite. But throughout the day, you acquire some stomach juice. So by the supper time, you are hungry. Okay? So this is important. Do you have a digestive fluid or not? If you don't have an appetite in the morning, just the morning stomach is dry. But if you don't have an appetite for the supper, breakfast, lunch, and supper, you really have a weakness. So you really need to go see your Chinese medicine practitioners. At this point, when your stomach is dry and you can't have healthy appetite, and if you put in supplements or protein powder or something like a meal replacement, you wouldn't be able to digest. They're gonna become garbage in your stomach. Now, quality of the digestive fluid. Maybe if you ever been to a Chinese medicine practitioner, they may say, oh, you have a dampness. So your stomach fluid could be too damp, too sticky, because there's the undigested substances left in the stomach. So your stomach juice is actually not great. So if you have the dampy stomach, you could have a bloating. If you have damp, undigested food that sat in your stomach for a while, got cooked because your stomach have a heat, plus with a dryness, you could have a halitosis, like you could have a smell in your breath. And it's not about the oral hygiene. It often comes from the stomach, either because your stomach is too dirty or your stomach is too dry, or both. Also, people who drink liquid with meal or before meal needs to be careful, because that would dilute the gastric juice. So drinking water before you eat, so your stomach is already full, so you can lose weight, is like absolutely stupid idea. You need to have a healthy gastric juice so you can digest food. If you don't digest food, you become fat. You gain weight, because there's undigested substances that becomes the garbage that sits in you. If you digest well, you eat food, it digests, pure energy of the food becomes your nutrition. The leftover goes all the way down and then come out as urination or from the defecation. So often, secondary, your third main concerns of the gaining weight recently and it needs to lose weight is because your stomach is weak. Also, you can see when your stomach weakness, or when you have a certain food that you cannot eat, like when you go see naturopathic doctors, and then they do like a food sensitivity test, and you're given the list that you cannot eat. It's not about the food that it's not about that those foods are bad. It's unless you have a celiac, you should be able to digest gluten. It's never been the gluten's fault. It's your stomach is not great enough. So it's not about what you eat. It's really how you can digest. Okay? So once we understand that the most important is your eating hygiene, eating habit, it's about how you digest, then we talk about what not to eat. Before we add anything to your food, so people ask me, so what should I eat? We should think about what we shouldn't eat before we add anything more to eat, right? When there's a closet, the messy closet, you don't add any more clothes before you clean and then take out what you don't need, right? Maria Kondo said, when you're cleaning your closet, you keep what you need, and then when you don't have spark of joy, then you get rid of it. Same thing. First, we eliminate what we cannot eat, and then we add maybe something we can eat, right? So these are I tell this to everybody, not specific to the certain illnesses, but first of all, we shouldn't eat anything cold. Your stomach, like I said, stomach has to cook. So if you put the cold food, it's a lot harder to cook for a stomach. So this includes obvious one like ice cream or frozen smoothie or cold juice, cold pressed juice. Smoothie is actually hard to digest, especially if it comes with the protein powders and frozen fruit. Fruit is hard to, it's uncooked to start with. When it's frozen, it's extra hard to digest. And yeah, so if you want to make a smoothie, it needs to be warm smoothie. Like you can put the kales and then your greens, and then you can put your turmeric, and then you can add like a coconut milk, and then you can make a hot waters, and then make a smoothie out of it, which sometimes people call soup, but cold is never been recommended. Only time actually you can eat something cold and then still not a cold smoothie or cold ice cream is in the summertime. So cold includes the uncooked, right? Salad is hard to digest because it's uncooked. And wintertime, if you want to lose weight, and if you pack yourself with salad, I doubt that you lose weight. You not eating junk food will help you to lose weight, but by eating just salad, I doubt that you will lose weight. So this, especially in the winter time, right? Like again, we eat with the heavenly timing, right? So in the summertime, when the outside is nice and warm, you can have some salad because outside is too much yang. So we invite something more yin energy to balance between human and then outside energy. But in the wintertime, when it's cold, you don't eat cold. You eat soup, right? So uncooked or obvious cold. Next is sugar. Obviously, no white sugar. Also including alcohol, because without sugar, alcohol won't become an alcohol. Honey or maple syrup is okay. I'm not saying like you cannot have anything sweet. Sweet is one of the 5 essential flavors that you need, but not the artificial synthetic sweetness like sugar or sugar substances. But some honey is okay, some maple syrups are okay. They're good things, but don't be generous. Be conservative about it. And so because this includes alcohol, beer that's cold is no go, right? Like if you have to have a beer, not every day, maybe like once a week, make it special. This is a weekend, I can have a couple of beer, and ideally drink room temperature. I used to live on the boat, so I always had back then like a room temperature beer. It was okay. I didn't enjoy too much, so I don't drink too much, but anyway. And then third one is dairy. Milk, cream, cheese. Cream cheese. So, yeah, you don't really need any of that. So you can't have anything cold, anything sugary, anything with dairy. So ice cream is really not a great idea. Gelato is not a really great idea at all, right? Cold cheesecake is not a really good idea. Yeah. Then let's talk about what to eat. So what to eat? Obviously, something easy to digest. Needs to be, so I'm thinking of soup, something like, something with like, because we are, this is about the, again, Tiandi Ren, and then this is from the Mercy from the Earth. You can, I usually recommend things that grow in the earth, like a root vegetable. Next is things grow on top of the earth, like a squash kind. So you cook something into soup with root vegetable or squash kind or any vegetable that grows on top of the earth. That would be great. If you want to have like a little bit of the meat, that's fine. I don't eat meat, but it's only for the different reason for your health. You can have a little bit of the like a minced lean beef, like a tiny bit in a big soup to just flavor. That's perfectly fine. The chunk of meat is hard to digest, but some little bit of the meat to just extract the essence of it, there's just the flavor of it, that's okay. So something easy to digest, right? Porridge, rice porridge, Chinese congee, oatmeal, are those really great. And then home cooked, right? It should be home cooked. It shouldn't be microwave dinner. It shouldn't be takeout or restaurant food. With this, like once a while you can do, to support your local businesses, but not every day, right? You should cook your food every day at home, mostly. And ideally not with the canned or like a processed products. Like you should just go to when you go to the grocery store, hobble around the vegetable section, and if you eat meat, maybe a little bit of the meat section, some grain section, and then pick up a couple eggs, and then that's it, right? Not processed. And then important is that it needs to be food. Like I said, things comes from the earth is what you need. So this doesn't include like supplements or protein powders or anything synthetic. It needs to be food. You're meant to digest food, not something it created in a factory. So it needs to be food. For the I'm not a nutritionist, so I won't talk about the nutrition too much. But you do need I like a healthy eggs, like a lot of the vegetables. You do need a healthy fat, and then for the healthy fat, I thought I'm gonna show here. I wanted to show you this. My favorite, because I don't eat meat or fish, I actually take MCT oil for my healthy fat. I take a tablespoon of this every day. This is coconut oil of the MCT oil. So I take that. It's really great. Eggs are the perfect balance of the protein and fat. Yeah, you do need a good fat, but not too much fat. Ketogenic diets are okay if you can digest. If you cannot digest, they become the garbage, right? I'm not really pro elimination diet. I think you should eat balanced diet, good amount of grain, a lot of vegetables, and a little bit of meat I think is great. And then you cook them, you chew them, you appreciate them, you sit facing them sincerely, and then you eat in the right timing, and then naturally your stomach will get healthier, and naturally you will lose weight. Okay, so this is about how to take care of your stomach from Yumi Ridsdale. Thank you.